Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening, all. Uh, Welcome to our final preview episode of in the Cricket World Cup happening in India, which starts actually today. We're a little bit late posting our videos. हमने सोचा था कि हम 2-3 दिन पहले post करेंगे, but we could not. Anyway, here we are. Welcome, everyone. My name is Arvind, and we are Hyderabad boys. And with me, I have Gaurav.
Yes, Saurav here. So, I mean, let's get quickly started.
Yeah, we have lots going on. So I thought हमने पिछले एपिसोड में अपने दर्शकों के लिए बताया था कि we actually talked about the previews of the squad. So I think we ended at Netherlands, if I remember right. So आज हम बात करते हैं वहां से the next team. I hope you're able to see my screen. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's now visible. Alright, तो हमें दर्शकों के लिए बता दूं जो नहीं सुन रहे हैं, जो नहीं देख रहे हैं रादर सुन रहे हैं। टीम है केन विलियमसन एज कैप्टन, ट्रेंट बोल्ट, मार्क चैपमैन, डेमॉन कॉनवे, लॉकी फर्गुसन, मैट हेनरी, टॉम लेथम, डैरिल मिचेल, जिमी नीशम, ग्लेन फिलिप्स, रचिन रवींद्रा, मिच सैंटनर, इश सोडी, टिम साउदी, विल यंग। सो फर्स्ट लुक में जब ये पढ़ रहा था और जब मैं आपको सुना रहा था, ये वाज लाइक दिस इज लुकिंग अ वेरी स्ट्रांग टीम।
And that's what New Zealand is, known to be. Very strong unit. You'll not find a lot of stars. हालांकि अब मुझे लगता है कि इस न्यूजीलैंड टीम में लास्ट फ्यू इयर्स में थोड़े स्टार्स आए हैं, केन विलियमसन हुए या फिर ट्रेंट बोल्ट हुए, लेकिन न्यूजीलैंड टीम की स्ट्रेंथ सालों से, possibly even before we started to watch World Cup, let's say 92 World Cup जब स्टार्ट उन्होंने अपना अपना कैंपेन वर्ल्ड कप का बहुत अच्छा किया था during the reign of Martin Pro, has been they're a very strong unit. मतलब कि ये बिल्कुल टीम की तरह खेलोगे, और आप ये स्क्वाड को देखोगे, this is another thing which kind of stands out. A perfect gelled machine. मुझे लगता है बहुत अच्छी टीम है, लेकिन थोड़े से मुझे कंसर्न्स रहे हैं न्यूजीलैंड की टीम के, एटलीस्ट इन द सब कॉन्टिनेंट, हालांकि उन्होंने अभी बांग्लादेश को हराया, is how they are going to tackle the spin of subcontinent teams, especially India, Pakistan, even the likes of Sri Lanka and Afghanistan. लेकिन if you just take that element away, I think a fantastic team. पता नहीं लोग क्यों कंसिडर नहीं करते न्यूजीलैंड को in their top four and even in the top two. Considering you also have to look at the history. They have been in the finals on the last two occasions of the World Cup. So no reasons for them to not to be in the semi-finals. लेकिन बस मुझे हो सकता है कि the only thing which might be against the New Zealand team is the conditions.
एक्चुअली आपने बोला था कि लास्ट टू टाइम्स फाइनल्स में हैं। एक्चुअली दे हैव बीन in semi-finals since 2007. They were in 2007 and even in 2011 they were in the semi-finals. So
Semi-finals.
this is a team which knocks into semi-finals quite frequently. If I remember right, 99 World Cup maybe I think Pakistan, Shoaib Akhtar took them out in that semi-final out. जब शेन बॉन्ड भी खेल रहे थे. I think 2003 was their only rare failure. 96 में they came in quarterfinals. 92 they were the Mark Great batch, I think Crow, that whole pinch hitting जो उन्होंने शुरू किया था 92 World Cup में.
So,
This is a squad which does very well in big tournaments and they have done it time and again. और अब उनको experience भी है final खेलने का. We all remember the last 2019 World Cup final, the greatest final ever in the history of England versus New Zealand. Um, Actually, Kane Williamson is the only captain who's still like the same team's captain. जो 2019 में भी captain रहे और 2023 में भी he's the captain. और हालांकि I think he has a niggle here. Um, I think it's a very very good team. I think people may underestimate New Zealand कि यार ठीक है यार, आपने जो बोला शायद काफी लोग वही बोलेंगे कि सब कॉन्टिनेंट कंडीशंस इनके लिए शायद थोड़ा एलियन हो सकता है, बट आई थिंक बॉलिंग वाइज देखा जाए एवरी वन ऑफ दोज बॉलर्स have played in IPL. तो केन विलियमसन has played in IPL. अगर मैं बैटिंग की देखा जाए, डेवॉन कॉनवे has played with CSK. अगर आप देखेंगे बॉलिंग में, आप लॉकी फर्गुसन, मिश शैंटनर, टिम साउदी, these guys all are IPL players. तो इनको ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी alien है इस condition में. I'm very curious to see how Devon Conway and Mark Chapman play. In this unit, they are very explosive. They can go berserk. And the pace of Lockie Ferguson in those pitches. And आपने हमने last time बात करी थी Mark Wood की. मुझे Lockie Ferguson reminds me of that Mark Wood-esque, the kind of a pace he could generate in. Finally, अगर आप देखा जाए, Trent Bolt and Tim Southee are two of the most experienced New Zealand players. अब जो आपने बोला था कि अब stars आ गए हैं, these are, I consider them as superstars of New Zealand, along with Kane Williamson. I think that World Cup experience is going to give them a lot of advantage as they come into 2023 World Cup. You cannot rule them out. I think this is a great squad. Uh,
True.
can they win the World Cup? I don't think so. They may not have all the pieces of pie there, but I think they'll try to knock it to the semifinals. They'll try to be, one of those. Um, Actually, one of my slides in the later part of this, the dark horse, like we call them the dark horse. They if there's one team who could knock team out to the semifinals, I think that's New Zealand.
True. Yeah.
All right, तो हम बात करते हैं next team की, arch rivals, our neighbors, and the mercurial, unpredictable Pakistan. Team, I'll read out the team. Babar Azam is the captain. Shadab Khan, Fakar Zaman, Imam ul Haq, Abdullah Shafiq, Mohammad Rizwan, Saud Shakil, Iftikhar Ahmed, Salman Ali Agha, Mohammad Nawaz, Osama Mir, Haris Rauf, Hassan Ali, Shaheen Afridi, and Mohammad Wasim. I think Haris Rauf is out. जब ये मैंने दिया था, I think this could have been a couple of days old. Um, I could please correct me if I'm wrong if Haris Rauf is part of the
No,
squad or
he isn't. He isn't. He isn't.
okay. मुझे लगा he got injured and everything. Um, Pakistan, winner of 1992 World Cup. Um, Always unpredictable. They came in 1999 finals, uh, but they've always blown hot and cold. You don't know which Pakistan turns up in the World Cup. But effectively a very, very good unit from a balance point of view, from a batting point of view, from a bowling point of view. Can they do in conditions which is something similar to them, or at least they're aware of it? And obviously, they have not played in India in long time. They are not going to get a good crowd reception anyway from India. Halanki Hyderabad, I think they were having good supporters there. What do you think, Saurabh? Where does this Pakistan, can they do an Imran Khan? Can Babar Azam do an Imran Khan?
I mean, quite a contrast from when we started our Asia Cup preview. तो हम लोग पाकिस्तान की टीम के बारे में काफी अच्छा बोल रहे थे. I still believe it's a good squad. लेकिन quite has changed. Quite a number of things have changed between the Asia Cup and now. First and all, I think they're going to miss Naseem Shah because I think he was their best bowler. One of their best bowlers for sure across formats. So they're going to miss Naseem Shah for sure. और मुझे लगता है उनकी जो लोअर मिडिल ऑर्डर जो बैटिंग है, यू हैव कंसर्न देयर अलोंग विद फखर जमान उनके टेक्निकल फ्लॉज हैं, लेकिन आई थिंक ऑल दैट ही बेसिकली नीड्स एन इनिंग्स और टू जस्ट टू कम आउट ऑफ द शेल. सो उनका जो ओपनिंग स्लॉट है इमाम उल हक और फखर जमान का, along with the middle order, the lower middle order especially, I think if this is something that they can figure out. और वर्ल्ड कप ऐसा, आई मीन इस बार का फॉर्मेट ऐसा है कि यू विल प्ले विद ऑलमोस्ट विद ऑल द टीम्स, तो काफी लंबा फॉर्मेट है, सो यू कैन नेवर राइट देम ऑफ. बैलेंस टीम है, लेकिन आई सी व्हाई देयर इज ग्रोइंग skepticism against this team when you consider likes of India, Australia, England, and even for a matter of fact we just reviewed New Zealand, which look very well balanced. यहाँ पे थोड़े अननोन क्वेश्चंस हैं. साउद शकील कैसा खेलेंगे, सलमान अली आगा टेस्टेड नहीं है, मोहम्मद नवाज इज कमिंग बैक इनटू द टीम एंड आई थिंक ही इज अ गुड ऐड. अच्छी स्पिन बॉलिंग करते हैं एंड वी हैव सीन प्रैक्टिस मैचेस में, मुझे लगता है स्पिनर्स का काफी रोल रहेगा. इनके पास फास्ट बॉलर्स ठीक ठाक है. अगेन शाहीन अफरीदी इज गोना बी द की अलोंग विद हारिस राउफ, लेकिन स्पिनर्स आर गोना बी की फॉर पाकिस्तान. शादाब खान, खेलेंगे। आई थिंक उनको खिलाना पड़ेगा बिकॉज इज द वाइस कैप्टन एंड इज अ डिसेंट बैटर। उसामा मीर ने अच्छी बॉलिंग की थी ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ, एंड आई लाइक द लुक ऑफ हिम। मुझे लगता है how the spinners of Pakistan are eventually going to play is what is going to decide the future of Pakistan in this particular
I think the other thing which Pakistan is, and I think हमने एशिया कप में भी देखा था, their fielding is ridiculously bad. You can't be doing that sort of fielding in a 50 over because you're basically giving more and more runs. T20 में balls कम है, maybe you can get away with it, couple of misses. You
I
The kind of
I
extras
rather
you will give here, that's I think going to be a negative for their overall unit. I mean, I'm going to balance बात करी थी, but that's the negative of the balance. This feeling is atrocious.
या मैं उनकी फील्डिंग देखना चाहूंगा rather than कपिल शर्मा का कुछ। It's hilarious.
But
So
I think fortunes of Pakistan lies on two players, Shaheen Afridi and Babar Azam. I mean, if
yeah,
these two guys click and click really well, we'll see a different Pakistan. If they don't, then Pakistan's crashing out pretty quickly. And that's why I always think Pakistan is unpredictable. You don't know. I mean, this could be a team which could lose to a West Indies or a Kenya and could thrash, Australia or England. एंड जो आपने सही बोला था कि ये फॉर्मेट ऐसा है कि ये जो पहले होता था कि ग्रुप में खेलो, वन बैड गेम एंड यू प्रॉब्ली एंड इंटरलुक्स टू ट्राई टू क्वालिफाई, दिस इज नॉट लाइक दैट, यू हैव टू प्ले एवरीवन. So that actually is a good and a bad thing for Pakistan, that they could lose some random game, but they could just destroy on their own day a team, a very good team.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Again, I think they're going to be unpredictable. I don't know where they'll end up. I mean, we'll talk about predictions, but I think Babar Azam will do well in India. I think he'll do well in India, and we will see how. Probably the Indian crowd will see how good he is, because we never saw him in that full play. Um,
True.
and I think because the conditions are going to be similar, the PSL they've played at all. I think अगर pitches flat track हुई, yeah, you can expect long scores from them. I think आपने सही बोला. The spin is going to be the weak link, that they may not have a world class spinner like everyone has it. If they have struggle to take pick wickets if it's winning conditions, they'll also struggle if it's a spinning track and they may not know how to rotate this track and everything. So those may be the weaknesses why they may not win the World Cup. Pakistan, you never know what can turn up. Okay, we'll talk the next team, and that's your favorite team, the team you support. Proteas. I call them nicknamely, stressing one word in that, but one part of the word in that. Let me leave it at that. मैं टीम बता देता हूँ. टीम है टेम्बा बाबूमा, captain, who incidentally was sleeping when the press conference was happening, or at least he looked he was sleeping. I'm not sure what it was, but anyway, Temba Bavuma, captain Gerald Coetzee, Quinton de Kock, Riza Hendricks, Marco Janssen, Heinrich Klaassen, Andelef Pelikwayo, Keshav Maharaj, Aiden Markram, David Miller, Lungi Ngidi, Khalid Surabhara, Tabrez Shamshi, Rassi Vanderdusen, Lizard Williams. I think they got the best T20 player in the world. In my opinion, Heinrich Klaassen is right now the greatest hitter, um, along with Aiden Markram and David Miller. So the hitting department is taken care of. Can they do other than hitting? Can they rotate the striker and all of that? I think they got a good squad with Quinton de Kock and Prissy Vanderdusen. Bowling which he have, but I'll let you dissect the squad of your team, your favorite team you support. Can they break the jinx and can they win the World Cup finally?
No, I don't think it's a World Cup winning squad. I think the best that they can do or hope for is I think they would be hoping to win the World Cup, but the best that I can hope for as a South African cricket fan is a final four position. I think bowling is their concern. अनिक नोकिया नहीं है टीम में। अनिक नोकिया काफी अच्छी बॉलिंग की है उन्होंने। आई थिंक लास्ट एक दो साल से वो इंजर्ड रहे हैं, एंड it's not surprising that he's not a part of the squad. Bowling is a concern for me. I think batting, It's pretty decent. Actually, he's very good. Quentin de Kock and Temba Bavuma, I know he is, I mean, apart from the incident that you spoke about yesterday, uncanny character. People don't really think of, him scoring a lot of runs quickly, but he has done very, very well recently in the shorter format. So Temba Bavuma, Quentin de Kock, Reza Hendricks, Lassen. I mean, you said he's the best T20 format player. I think he's the best. I mean, along with the best T20 format player, he's the best player of the spinner, and that's going to be the key in this particular World Cup. How this particular squad and other squads as well, barring India, although India की भी spin थोड़ा खेलने में problem रही है, how they are going to tackle the spin. So I think he's also going to be tested in the spinning conditions क्योंकि उन्होंने भी ज्यादातर spin outside Asia subcontinent खेला तो he's also going to be tested. But yeah, Henrik Klassen, David Miller, so batting is more or less sorted. I think bowling depth is what for me is the concern. Takiso Rabada, if you just go by name value, fine, but लास्ट 3-4 सालों से Kagiso Rabada is
Mm-hmm.
not the Kagiso Rabada out cold. Tungi Angiri, I know he's bowling well. He's, he can be a hit me sort of a bowler. Batsman can take him on. Which leaves Keshav Maharaj, Tabrez Shamsi. Bowling gives me concerns. I mean, South Africa की bowling is what is giving me concern. Rassie Van Dusen, I think लोगों को पता नहीं होगा, लेकिन he's been their top batsman since a long
Oh
time.
yeah.
अगर आप ICC ranking देखेंगे, I think he's been a top 2, top 3. I think beside Babar Azam for a very very long time. और अच्छी batting करते हैं. I think ODI format इनके लिए best suited है because he takes a little bit of time to start and then he has both the games. He has all the gears which are required to be a very good batsman in ODI. I think bowling is a concern.
Yeah, I think आपने bowling के बारे में बताया, but I mean I hear you. I think Henrik Nokia is a big miss, but you know some of these players have played in IPL and they know the conditions. Like Marco Jansen, he's played in IPL. He knows these Indian conditions. Uh, I still think Keshav Maharaj and Tabrez Shamsi could be, the weapons there. With the they could exploit the conditions. Now, can they be consistent? I have to wait and watch. Um, I mean, even Peluk Wayo, I mean, is a wily sort of a customer. He can, you never know, he can grab a wicket here and there. I think if I look at it up, you can say right. I mean, South Africa would like their batters to hit big, then go and defend it. That may be the easier way for them. I think it lies on Quinton de Kock and Henrik Klassen. I mean, if they're opening, they're in middle order, kind of plays well, gives them a big enough target for their ballers to, kind of defend at them. I think they'll do well. आप concern बोल रहे हो? I think you're a little too pessimistic for a fan. I think it's a decent unit. It's not a world class unit, but at the same time, I think they could surprise people on their day.
They could. They could. I think they also have to be very, very careful against the likes of Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, and
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't looked at where they're playing. अगर ये लखनऊ, चेन्नई वगैरह जैसी जगह में games अगर उनके हो रहे हैं, I think South Africa क्योंकि ट्रेडिशनली मैंने देखा अगर कोई फंसी हुई पिच होती है तो उतना अच्छा नहीं खेलते हैं. तो how they are going to tackle the spinners as well is something that I would want to look at. Overall, a decent squad. I think मुझे बस bowling में थोड़ा सा concern. It doesn't give me that confidence like the way I have in their batting. I think batting looks fine, although they can surprise me not batting. I mean, not batting well at all. Lekin batting is not a problem for me. I think batting is world class. Bowling मुझे थोड़ी सी mediocre लगती है. Marco Jansen is someone that I'll be looking at. I think coming up as a good all rounder. राशिद खान को 5 छक्के लगाए थे रिसेंटली ऑस्ट्रेलिया की सीरीज में उन्होंने अच्छी बैटिंग की थी. So I think है bases covered, लेकिन बस I'm just not too confident at it. Yeah.
Spoken like a true fan. All right, let's look at the last team, Sri Lanka. Team, I can read the team out. It's Destin Shanaka, the captain, Kushal Mendes, vice captain, Kusal Pereira, Pathum Nisanka, Dimut Ratne, Sadira Samaravikrama, Charit Asalanka, Dhananjay D. Silva, Dishan Hemanta, Mahesh Tikshana, Dunit Villalage, Pasun Rajita, Matisha Patirana, Lahiru Kumara, Dilshan Madhushankar. Big name is missing. Vanindu Hasaranga is not in the World Cup. He's not in the squad. I think he would be a big miss. But otherwise, Sri Lanka looks to have. I think Asia Cup has done well for them. I think wonders for them, barring the final. Um, it's a decent unit. It's a unit which you cannot take them very lightly. They're not a World Cup winning unit. I think they lack some of the experience. Sri Lanka would be a miss, but the likes of Pereira, Mendes, Shanaka, DDS, uh, and then obviously the Patirana and Tikshana. These guys have played IPL. These guys know the conditions and similar to their home conditions anyway. Um, they're going to be an interesting unit. May not be a swashbuckling and batting, but man, the bowling looks decent. What do you think?
A very good squad. I think Hasaranga and Chamira is someone that they're going to miss
Oh
dearly.
yeah, I missed
I
Chamira. Yep.
yeah. I think वो दोनों होते तो यार I think you know they would have given sweats to a lot of
Oh
teams.
yeah.
लेकिन even they not being in the squad, I think it's a very decent squad. आपने एशिया कप में थोड़ा सा ट्रेलर देख लिया, I think barring that final game which was not a game actually. Um, they played very well. Or given the conditions, I think it's a very decent squad. Very decent squad. अच्छे spinners हैं. I think that's what is going to matter in this particular tournament as we जैसे 4-5 games हो जाएंगे सबके, तो मुझे लगता है अक्रॉस एवरीवेयर इंडिया में सारे पिचेस में मुझे लगता है हल्का सा टर्न होगा। और आपने देखा उनके वेलागले है या फिर धनंजय सिल्वा है, उनके पास ऐसे स्पिनर्स, वाइली स्पिनर्स बहुत हैं।
Yep.
So first, I think they're going to miss a couple of their players, which I just stated. Barring that, I think that's a decent spot. Madhushanka, Lahura, Kumara, Madhushanka, कई लोगों को याद होगा कि नहीं, लेकिन he has done very well. Left arm pacer, and I think he bowled out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that Kohli. I think in the last Asia Cup T20. So yeah, I think decent spot. अच्छी batting है.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for me, they could also be one of the
Actually, you're right. I mean, they could be. I mean, them knowing the conditions because again, subcontinent में खेल रहे हैं. It's a big plus for them. Um, and if it rains and all, आजकल rain भी यहाँ पे चल रहा है. I know it's unseasonal. The pitches could be different. We could just not take advantage of it. So, yeah, I think that wraps up all the squads. Actually, 10 great teams. I actually think this is a very competitive World Cup. This may be most competitive World Cup ever. So, with that, we thought let's finish the episode podcast with our predictions, what we think. Uh, Here are our predictions. So, semifinalists in no particular order because we don't know how 1 and 2 or 1 and 4 कैसे हो सकता है. This is what we think would be the semifinalists. Um, I'll read out my first semifinalists and then Saurav will come to you. So my prediction for the semifinalists are India, England, Australia, and yeah, I think I'm going to get bricks for this one. Pakistan. I just don't know which Pakistan turns up. I think Babar Azam Pakistan. It's a wild guess. I mean, oh well. So what the hell? Let's just put something which could be completely out of the way. And who better than an unpredictable team like that? So that's my prediction. Saurav, you want to read your predictions?
The top three kind of remains the same: England, Australia, India. I think that's going to be no-brainer for almost all the panelists who might be doing their predictions. The fourth it's going to be a battle between South Africa, Pakistan, New Zealand. It could be Sri Lanka as well. Again, I'll just go with South Africa. You can say my heart says South Africa, तो मैंने यहाँ पे मेरा जो दिल बोल रहा है मैंने यहाँ पे डाला है. लेकिन it could very well be New Zealand as well. I think New Zealand
Yeah,
मुझे न्यूजीलैंड की टीम ज्यादा as a team ज्यादा बेटर लगती है साउथ अफ्रीका से. So it could be New Zealand, but I'll just go with South Africa and let's see,
yeah,
how they
yeah.
progress.
I think you called it out right. I mean, I said Pakistan. I know it's sort of the win there. I mean, random mercurial there, but you're right. I think it's possibly battle between Pakistan, New Zealand, and maybe even for me, it's well Sri Lanka because also the home conditions. Um, I just flip Pakistan because I don't know which Pakistan turns up. Can they win their
I
whole
think
Asia Cup?
I think it's a fair choice.
And there's that whole
लेकिन आप
romanticism, that whole I actually want India Pakistan final, well, or a semi final. semi-final could be one of those repeats. I think it was the '87 World Cup. Yeah,
Yeah,
we have we where?
I think 87 May it was between uh, England and India in one of the finals, in the
Yeah,
one of the
India, England, and
semi-finals, and
Australia was Pakistan.
Australia versus Pakistan.
And
So
Australia went through, and then England went through. And so that's another thing. Like England, Australia, for me, that whole romanticism around the whole Ashes old rivalry coming back again. Yeah, I think old rivals, all in one. I think just brings the semifinals to the completely the next one. I mean, there's that whole romanticism to the attached to that. But surprise package. Let's talk about this. Whom we think would do better, or completely surprise everyone. And my answer for that is Afghanistan. I think Afghanistan in 2019 could have done much better, should have done much better, and I think they will do much better in 2023. Rashid Khan, people watch out.
very fair choice. I think 2019 में I can very well recollect two games against India and Pakistan in England, which I think they should have won. लेकिन I think मोहम्मद शमी ने हैट्रिक की थी, या फिर मोहम्मद शमी ने अच्छी बॉलिंग की थी लास्ट ओवर में, मुझे याद है. और पाकिस्तान के साथ भी बहुत क्लोज गेम था. पाकिस्तान और अफगानिस्तान का काफी टाइम से चल रहा है, वेरी क्लोज गेम्स, एंड अफगानिस्तान didn't cross the final hurdle irrespective of the format. So very fair. I think I would have also liked to pick Afghanistan. Like I'm just going with Pakistan. हालांकि पाकिस्तान मुझे लगता है फाइनल फोर में भी आ सकती है, लेकिन आई एम स्टिल कंसीडरिंग अ सरप्राइज पैकेज बिकॉज देयर इज लॉट ऑफ नेगेटिविटी व्हिच इज काइंड ऑफ फ्लोटिंग अराउंड दिस करंट पाकिस्तानी स्क्वाड. आई थिंक थोड़े इनसाइड न्यूज आ रही है कि देयर आर लॉट ऑफ क्लैशेस विद इन द प्लेयर्स. फिर थोड़ा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का एक इशू चल रहा है पाकिस्तान में काफी महीनों से एक्चुअली, व्हिच हैजंट कम आउट इन द इंडियन मीडिया, लेकिन दैट्स एन इशू व्हिच इज काइंड ऑफ गोइंग ऑन. तो अभी ज्यादा एक्सपेक्टेंसी नहीं है ज्यादा लोगों की पाकिस्तान से in terms of they reaching the final four, and hence I'm just calling them out. Yeah, we better watch out for this particular team. When the chips are down, when no one is predicting them to win, and this is when they can surprise a lot of people, and hence I'm just going with Pakistan.
Well, fine. The other category I have is dark horse, whom we think are going to be wily customers. Probably will end, can go all the way, and I think we both picked the right team. We both picked the same team. Let's put it this way. Right or not, we'll have to wait and watch. New Zealand, they've always been the dark horses in the World Cups.
I think
हमेशा
they do
से
it.
they have been, they do well. And
I think
as
I think हम दोनों disrespect कर रहे हैं
हाँ,
न्यूजीलैंड को.
actually हम दोनों
they,
disrespect कर रहे हैं. They have always been the probably semi-final and finalists. So I actually should not call them dark horse. They are probably one of the top tier teams there.
yeah.
But I guess because the conditions are not known to all, they are known to many of them, not all. And because they're still a very good team, I think they could surprise. And if there's one team which could go all the way, there could be New Zealand outside the predictions.
Yeah. I think instead of काला घोड़ा they should be known as जैसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं लॉन्ग क्या लंबी रेस का घोड़ा.
लंबी रेस का
क्योंकि
घोड़ा.
क्योंकि आप देखेंगे वर्ल्ड कप we kind of discussed that. I think almost every World Cup they're coming in the semi-finals.
Yeah. And finally, our prediction for winner. I think this is the hardest one. Hardest one. For me, it's between India and England. I can't pick one. I have to pick one. I could not choose one. I just picked India a little bit over England, only because it's home conditions for India. And that final is going to be played in front of 120,000, 1.2 lakhs Indian crowd. Most of them Indian crowd, if not all. That's probably India comes into the final. India plays in Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. 100,000 people supporting you. Home advantage and home support. That's the one thing which will pip them over, or let's say England in this particular case. But I still think England is probably the best team there. But India, as we हमने last episode में बात करी, they have covered all the bases now with Asia Cup. Ashwin coming in, I think, yes, this may be the best India team ever to come into the World Cup. And if they don't win, I think that's going to be a big disappointment. But I think, home conditions give them the advantage over England.
ये आई थिंक वही है मेरे मेरे हिसाब से is I mean West Indies tour तक we were all pretty negative about Team India, and I think they're just playing in these conditions, especially India में. I think it's gonna give them an advantage. um, सारे bases covered हैं. Last 3 editions of the World Cup आपने देखा होगा, एक there's this correlation, the home team winning the World Cup, so that also kind of
Yeah,
plays into it. So just going by these 2 3 factors, मुझे लगता है शायद शायद इंडिया जीत जाएगी. मुझे लग रहा है इंडिया would lift the cup.
yeah, and I think it'll be a nice wrap for Kohli. I don't think Kohli will play the next World Cup. I could be
Could be.
wrong, but
I
um,
think काफी काफी लोगों का लास्ट होगा. आई थिंक कोहली का लास्ट है, रोहित शर्मा फॉर सर्टेन.
most certainly
का
Rohit
लास्ट
Sharma's
रहेगा.
last. So I think this could be a very fond farewell to do it this man. And just like how we talk about Kapil Dev's, lifting of the trophy, that scene, and then Mahendra Singh Dhoni's six. Maybe this could be the time where Sky or I don't know, Shubman Gill does something which they make them go into the record
Hmm.
books or history books. So, yeah, that's all we have today. World Cup starts today. Our next episode, we will want to talk a little bit about England, New Zealand. That's going to be the first game, uh, coming live from Narendra Modi International Stadium, Ahmedabad. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great World Cup. So, I'm excited. I'm looking forward for this one. 50 over World Cup is here to stay. Even though the T20 World Cup is more not popular, but this is the real World Cup, and let's enjoy the spectacle. All right.
All right.
Think we can wrap it up here. Thank you everyone for watching. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends and family. We will talk in later. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.